Hey guys, final day. I forget what number we're on, 24 I think. It's about 6 in the morning. Sorry for the noise. The cicadas are finally just dying down enough where I can start to do a video. Garbage guys are just going by, trucks making some noise here. Let me just give you guys a real big tip. In general, don't work on a project like this when you're super tired. I made so many mistakes last night just because my mind was wiped. I mean, one after the other. And luckily I've mostly salvaged the situation now that I've gotten some sleep, and it was bugging me. I woke up, I've only got like 5 hours of sleep, but I woke up and I'm like, oh my god, here's what I need to do. Okay, long story short, when I took those old badges off, the adhesive was all messed up. There's a little bit on here that I couldn't get off because I made a stupid mistake of using that super glue. I knew better. That was just incredibly stupid. You never ever get super glue near paint. It doesn't come off. Period. Even if you get the hard stuff off, it ruins the paint instantly. I mean, it's done. And that's exactly what happened here. So I finally got all the adhesive off with the Goo Gone, and I had this little bit, the outline of the badge, where the super glue had run down and dried in an outline. So I had this thumbnail size spot of super glue stuck on the bike, and it wasn't coming off. I mean, it wasn't budging. Goo Gone doesn't touch that kind of stuff. So the only solution to get it off is acetone. And yes, acetone is a great paint remover too. So I very carefully dabbed it with Q-tips. Glue came off, but it left this dull section. Instead of the super glue raised up and hard, it was just dull paint in the outlining, the exact shape, because the super glue instantly dries to the paint and sucks up all the moisture, and it's done. So you always see it there. So I tried to smooth a little bit with the Goo Gone. As soon as I touched it with the Goo Gone, paint came right off. So then I had a thumbnail size spot of no paint. I just kept making it worse, kept making it worse. That's the point. Stupid decisions. If I had have just not used that super glue, I wouldn't have any freaking problem right now. Still would have been a perfectly beautiful painted tank. But now I ended up with a thumbnail size spot of no paint. Okay, so went online, went to order the OEM badges. $48 per badge for a little 50-cent piece of plastic. No thank you. I don't care. I will do something else rather than spend $100 on 2 little pieces of plastic on principle alone. Forget about it. These aftermarket ones, there seems to be one Chinese company in the entire world making these things. Every single auction, every single Amazon buyer is selling this exact same product. All right, the same pictures, same ads, same description, same size. It's the same manufacturer. So there's nothing else different out there. There's nothing better except the $100 OEMs. And the difference is $82 to $88 depending on the auction and the purchaser. So huge difference. So I ordered another set, got these off another guy, and I paid like $13. They're already on the way from China. They take like 10 days to get here or something like that. The other ones actually came really quick, so I would imagine these will be coming quick too. But again, stupid decisions. Didn't even have to do that. I have a freaking set right here. And my thought was, okay, I'll get another set, rip the adhesive off, and use the correct 3M adhesive. I got the set right here. So, woke up, spent an hour cleaning up all the adhesive off of these, put down my real 3M automotive adhesive tape. Great stuff. You can get it at Walmart. Here's a tip. They have it in 2 sections at Walmart. One in the automotive, and it's in a fairly thin band roll, and 2 in the craft section, and it's extra. It's a wide strip, and it's half the price. You get about 3 times as much in the craft section as the automotive. Same 3M tape, same high bond durability. It's awesome kind of stuff. It's not totally permanent, but it takes real effort to peel it off. But the cool thing is, when you do peel it off, it doesn't separate. It's not like a foam. It comes off in one chunk. You just have to work it slowly because it will want to pull up. If you have, for example, I use it to mount radar detectors to dashboards. It'll stay absolutely permanent until you are ready to take it off, and you have to get in there and really take it off. But you got to be careful. The wife tried to take hers off last time, and she ripped her dashboard. So take your time with it. But it is awesome. It's the same thing that all automotive decals, emblems, even some side panels and stuff like that are put on with. So it's really good stuff. It's inexpensive. Cleaned those off. Got them on the bike. And there we go. Completely stuck on, not moving a bit, just like the OEMs are supposed to be. Now this is the part that's not curved that should have been. This front part was fine. It's got a nice curve in the part itself, but this tank actually curves back a little bit, and this part is perfectly straight, so it sticks out about, well, by the end, about 1/8 of an inch down here at the tip. And the stock adhesive, I mean, it just shredded. There's that gunky foam. Over here, I still have a little damage because that spot of paint that came off was bigger than the end. You can see it right down in there. So what I'm going to do now is run out to the store and get a tiny little touch-up pen can of candy apple red, and that'll fill right in. I already have cleaned off and everything, and it's obviously right under here. Unless you're right up here looking, you're not going to know it's there, but I know it's there. So I'm going to fix it, and it'll go away. Not a big deal. You can see how small it is just from a pinky finger. But pretty much right to the top lip of this is gone paint. This whole big block right here, the big circle. Oh man, I was not happy. But point is, if you're getting tired, man, just stop. Stop, walk away, come back later. I shouldn't have rushed it. I really wanted to get this done last night. That was the whole thing I was, messing around with. So this morning I tightened down the mirrors, got all this torqued, got all the controls torqued, ran my control cables and everything, my electrical signal cables, got them nice and zip tied in place. So now all I have to do is swap out my levers. See you later, guys. Swap out my levers, reconnect my clutch cable, and then I'll be ready to clean once I get some more daylight. Make sure all this is routed well. So we're getting there. Just slow down. Learn from my mistakes. We'll get there. And there we go. Good as new. As soon as I get this completely down, probably sometime tomorrow, just to let it completely set, I'll pinch away the remaining little tiny bits of foam here with a pair of tweezers, and then you won't see any of that, but the paint's good again. Alright, let's get these new control levers on. Get the clutch cable connected, and it'll actually be roadworthy. Well, another mental note, to get these controls out, I actually have to remove the grips and remove the electronics here, because I pulled the nut off the bottom, pulled the shaft out the top, and I thought this control lever pulled forward and out, but it actually comes this way, so it's trapped in there by this edge. No big deal. Luckily these grips aren't glued on. Another reason I love these Avon grips. Just 3 little set screws. I'll wiggle this back a little bit, open this up and move it out of the way a little bit. We'll slip this out and put the new one in. Do the same on the other side. Easier solution. See, pays to be not super tired. Just loosen this one bolt and move the whole control in to get it out. What's the matter, Chloe? You grumpy? No, you grumpy? Want to go in? Yeah, too hot? Alright, see you later. Thanks for helping. It figures that all the problems are coming right at the end. I'm still having a bugger of a time keeping this stuck down. I have to keep pushing it down, and after about 20-30 minutes it wants to come back up. It really needs to be clamped somehow, but there's nothing I have that can put any kind of good force on this. You know, even if I bungee cord around, it's not going to put force this way. It's just going to scrunch everything. But I know from prior experience I should be able to get it to stick just by keep putting it down. It seems to be staying down longer. It's come up 3 times now. But the actual problem I ran into here is with the new clutch lever, which is, where to go? Hello, clutch lever. Where did I put you? Here's the old one. It's not in there. Must be up here. Hold on. Where did I put you? Did I put you in the tool room? I might have. Nope. What the heck? It's my ghosts again. It is my ghosts again. This is what happens. I just had it in my hand. Seriously. You gotta be kidding me. Again, you guys are probably going, oh, it's right there. Yeah, it's right here. Right where I put it. Okay, the problem is, it's too thick. This outer diameter, I mean like fraction of a millimeter too big. This is what happens with aftermarket parts. I mean, it's to be expected. And there's a bushing that goes in the middle. And then this whole thing slides in here like this. Well, the problem is, this back edge is hitting that shoulder in there just slightly, so it fits in and I can get the bolt in the pulled position, but it doesn't want to spring back because it gets super tight right about here, and then it's binding all the way up here. And you can see, if you look down the mounting hole there, when I close it, you can see it want to come out. So it's not quite right. But I just need to take some material off of here. The outer diameter is not critical on this because it is held in completely by the bushing. So I just need to clearance it out to match. That's the brake lever. I don't know, to match the other one basically. So just got to take off a little plating basically. And then that should fix that. And I can move on. And there we go. Nothing a few minutes of filing couldn't cure. I had to file away this whole section of the outer diameter of it to clear that inside lip, and I had to file I actually did the bottom surface about a half a millimeter, because when I would clamp it down, it was just not the right size, so it would actually stick. Totally nice and free now. Everything's tightened down. Got my specified 10 to 15 millimeters of free play at the end here before it starts to engage. Turn to the left is at its tightest range, and that feels absolutely silky smooth, just like a brand new bike. Tell you what else feels silky smooth is the steering bearing. Oh man, I mean, it just, remember how I said, well, I'm not sure if that clip now from yesterday went through, but I said that I was surprised at how easily when I park it, when it's actually on the side stand, it just flops to the left, you know, and parks itself that way. That steering bearing feels like it's not even there. It's just like butter. And the way the whole bike rolls, oh my god, these new bearings. And complete, except for wash. It's still raining, so I can't bring it out to wash off the blue balls yet, but as soon as it does, man, it's getting scrub-a-dub-dub. Love it. Have to say, it came out better than I expected. The one really cool thing, the way it rolls around, the way it feels. This is a heavy bike. This is a 500 and some pound bike. I mean, it's not a light little city bike. You can feel it. Once you get past about here, you really feel the weight. But what's really amazing is the way it just tootles around. Absolutely effortless steering and rolling. Clutch is butter smooth now. Brake is immediate. Transmission smooth. Beautiful. Dig it. Alright, come on, rain, go away. I want to bring out these white walls, baby. Alright guys, that wraps up the build. Came out super awesome. I love the way it looks. I really love the way it rides. I was absolutely shocked that there's that big of a difference between how I bought it and now. And I don't know how much of that is stock compared to this versus it just needed the stuff done. So I have a feeling most of it would have been just as nice feeling if I had just kept it stock equipment. Oh, I got it dry under the seat there. It's going to be a little tough getting used to the white walls. I got to get some white wall cleaner. I got some of the blue stuff that wouldn't come off real easy with the soap. And I did get a few little grease smudges on the front one just from, the installs. That's why they said leave that blue on, man. And man, I believe them. So washed right off the front one as you saw. So I had to scrub the rear ones. But yeah, that's just a trip to Walmart. No big deal there. And I tried the steel woolen stuff and man, it just wasn't coming off. I want to try it on the engine, but I'll do that next time I wash it. Oh, it looks great. I really am amazed how light it feels. I think it's mostly to do with the steering bearings. It just flicks, man. Nice low center of gravity. It's not a light bike, not by any means, but it handles really well. Took it up and got a full tank of gas in the rain. Taking it real easy because these tires are brand new, man. They are slick as snot. They have goop over them. I mean, I know tires come with mold release agent and stuff like that, but these were ridiculous. I mean, they were slimy as I was unwrapping them, taking them out of that cellophane. They were disgusting. I mean, they were gooped. So got a little break-in period to go with the tires there. All right, well, I have cleanup to do. Wife comes home in a few hours and I got to get all this crap put away. I threw out most of the garbage already. Have to find room for my lift. I think I can probably put it away in one of my cubby holes. I think I have some room down there. If not, I don't know. I'll find a spot. She needs to get rid of this crap. Oh, cool thing is, she is most likely, I mean like 99%, switching jobs again. Even though she just got hired into a new high school. She finally, just coincidentally, got the online job interview. It's Florida virtual teaching. No more bullshit with, you know, principals and kids in person kind of. It's a dream job for her, basically, teaching the exact subject she wants, and it would be like a retirement job. And she has an interview tomorrow. If she gets it, all this crap goes away permanently because she never uses it again. Ha 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 ha. That would be awesome. If she gets it, that's the first thing I'm going to say. Cool. Give me my garage back. All right, cleanup time. And then I'm going to do the after photo shoot. I've been waiting for this for over 2 weeks. And I'll have the before and after to put up. This worked out real well, by the way. This is just a storage bin that I put a garbage bag over. It worked great as a little work table. I didn't care about, you know, getting crap on it or anything, and it was real sturdy. It was, you know, one of these. So if you want a quick little table, just do that. Really cool for getting things dirty. Okay, clean up, and then the after photo shoot. I will put the pictures here at the end of the video. Thank you all very much for watching the series. I had a ton of fun doing it. I encourage anyone, if you have the means, the space, the skill to do it, not hard at all. Huge thumbs up to BlueCollarBobbers.com. Check them out. If you're interested in doing any kind of bobber, look at their site, because even if you don't use their parts, which I do recommend, excellent products, the bikes they do their parts for are very, very common, very inexpensive, and easy to find. So if you want to do it like I did, get a Steel on a higher mileage, put the time into the work. I mean, I knew I was forgetting something. I need to go over all the prices with you guys. Sorry about that. I was rudely interrupted by a spam phone call. I forgot where I left off, but I want to go over all the prices with you so you guys know, you know, what to expect and how I did all this and the deals I got and that kind of stuff. So let me go grab my price sheet real quick. Okay, I know there's probably a couple things, small things, because I made a lot of runs to the store that I'm forgetting, but this is darn close. All right, I got the bike for $2,000. It was originally listed for $2,900 in excellent condition. Ha ha. I was kind of thinking about it, watching the listing. The guy dropped it to $2,500, and I said, all right, that's worth a look. So I went over, bargained with him. I looked it over, like I said, for an hour. Again, if you want to see the checklist and what you should be looking for in a used bike, check out my video on that. That's way back in the series. I think just before the series. Anyway, I offered him 19. He countered with 2. I took it, knowing that it needed, you know, a couple hundred in parts and a lot of labor, even if I was going to keep it stock. So, and at that point, I didn't know if I wanted to do this or keep it stock. So it would have been a good deal either way. So that's an option for you. Check out the higher mileage bikes. Again, this had 42,000 and change on the clock, but typically you're going to find these under 10. These are very, 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 very common. I think it's the most popular cruiser bike in the world, and they've been made pretty much the same for almost 20 years, and it's a very common starter bike. So they're all over the place, super cheap, super low mileage. People, often wives, will buy them and very quickly either stop riding or step up to something bigger because it's only an 805cc, and they're pretty cheap. I mean, they're like $8,500 new, so that's why they're very, very popular, and they're all over the place. There's several different models. They're all essentially the same thing. 2005 and below is carbureted, 2006 and above is fuel injected. They have a touring model, which is just some different accoutrements and a different color gauge cluster, and I believe 2009 and up has a better gauge cluster with a digital tach and a fuel gauge. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, they're all the same. The M50, almost the same too. It's like 99% the same. You get different pipes, you get pegs instead of floorboards, you get a little cooler looking front end, but the engine and the frame and everything's the same. And BlueCollarBobbers has a kit for that as well. It comes out exactly the same. So tons and tons and tons of bike options to do this particular kit very inexpensively. All right, so I got the bike for $2. Got a deal on the lift. You saw that. That was $40. 23 on oil, 58 for the air filter, which was insanely expensive, like $40 for the plastic and paper air filter, and a new oil filter. And I still have to do the oil change. Just, you know, kind of waiting. I don't need to do that right now. It's got a fairly recent oil change, but I'm going to do it real soon here, just so I know it's at the right level and I can zero everything out. But I want to get it washed, so that's the last thing on my list, as you can see down here, to do oil change. And this does take 10W40 and 3.6 quarts, if you're wondering. So a gallon jug is all you need. And I put on the new chrome levers for $25. I spent $25 in polisher and that ball polisher, which was a waste of money. And I'll talk about some things that worked and what didn't right after this too. And let's see, $4 on the knee pads, waste of money, didn't even use them. $10 on those crappy emblems. Got those off of eBay at the time. Again, you can get those eBay or Amazon if you're looking for them, but these just aren't quite sticking. The plastic is too stiff. So what I'm going to do is take a very, very fine drill bit and drill basically a slot through the top part of this plastic, because it's very thin. It's hollow on the inside, and that's the problem. The sticker can't get all the way to the actual top of the plastic. So I tried squishing more in there, and I might try that again, putting big blocks of stickers in there just to get it to stick. But now it's dried out and I won't even attempt to stick anymore. So, you know, this hollow needs to be filled. Or what I could do is just cut slots like here and on the bottom, and that way this would be free to hinge and fold nice and tight. And I think that's the better option, because man, it is stiff with this. It's fairly thick and hard ABS plastic, so it really doesn't want to bend. But the thing is, this is also creased down the center, so it's got some rigidity all on its own, even if this were the only surface. So I don't know. I'll try the blocks first, but I think it's just a little too little surface area for the amount of stiffness. And even these ends are doing it now. I don't know. I've got another set coming, you know, so I got some time to wait. But point is, I'm not going to damage the bike again. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're just hanging out. So no big deal. Anyway, $10 for those. $32 for the new used bezel. That's the chrome around the dash there. And that's because the other one was dented. Again, just cosmetic. Didn't need to do that, but it would have driven me crazy looking at it every day. $19 for the HID headlight kit. That was definitely a bargain. And again, all over eBay and Amazon. Seems like there's only one kit. Everyone's selling the same thing. And obviously you saw my problem with the first kit not having the right adapter, but they rectified it, shipped the other one right out, and no muss, no fuss. So thumbs up to them. I gave them positive feedback. 26 for, I believe it was the rear wheel bearings. 36 for the new used shock with just a few thousand miles on it, so it's, you know, basically new as opposed to worn out at 42 something. $13 for the front wheel bearings. $53 to rekey the gas cap, because the previous owner, or one of them, had replaced the ignition cylinder. These bikes had a big problem back in the day with the ignition cylinders locking up. So the cheaper solution, if you're out of warranty, is just to put in a new ignition cylinder, which came with a new key. But then you were stuck with the original key working your gas cap and your toolbox and your, I don't know, there's something else on the stock bike. But anyway, I had two keys here, and I did not want that, because if you put a second key here, you end up scratching the hell out of this panel, and that's why I had to repaint these in the first place. So I spent $53 and had this rekeyed to the new ignition key, so now I have one key as it should be. A little expensive, but definitely worth it. And there was only one guy in my area out of all the locksmiths. I mean, I called a dozen of them, and he was a personal reference from another locksmith. So that might be a little difficult to find, depending on where you live, somebody to do that. I'm sure you could mail order it. And let's see, what else? $60 for the new fuel hose. Again, something that needed to be done. It was, you know, a decade old, and those are prone to leaking over time. It's something you need to replace, just like your regular fuel hoses on a carb. So no big deal there. Just expensive because it's a high pressure line with the special fittings on the ends, and it's formed and all that kind of stuff. So won't have to do that again. $40 for the steering bearings. Nightmare project, well worth it though. Really made a difference, but I would spend $100 to have a shop press the old ones off next time, at least off the stem there. The rest of it wasn't that big of a deal. $10 for the front wheel bearings. Did I say that already? I can't remember. I got $75 back for selling the stock parts. That was still a deal in my book, because I wouldn't have had a bid on those for months, you know, and it would have been a pain in the ass if I put them on eBay and auction them off, blah blah, whatever. Now they're done, gone. $75 back in my pocket. $100 for the Dremel and parts. Again, not needed for this bike, but came in very handy, and I wanted it anyway, so I'm including it in this list. But you know, if you just want a strict bike list, take that off yours. 24 bucks. That was pretty much a waste in my book. That was for just turning 2 bolts that came with the Blue Collar Bobber kit because they mix metric and standard fasteners. Big no-no in my book. They did it with a lot of their parts. Half of them are metric, half are SAE, and I just didn't have a deep well socket for those particular bolts, so I had to waste 24 bucks on a kit just to turn 2 nuts. So that's on the list, but again, you might have them. I didn't. A lot of brake cleaner, probably like 15 bucks. I forgot to write it down here. I think I bought 3 cans total and I used up the one I had. So there's a lot of cleaning to do with that. Came in very handy. 10 bucks for the battery pigtail. 10 bucks for a punch set, which I did end up using for the bearings. That was well worth it. $16.50 for the Blue Collar Bobber parts total, and $450 for the paint, which may be a little on the high side, but you know what? He was the only guy that really got back to me real quick with a quote. A couple other guys I called were just sounded like jackasses on the phone and didn't really care about talking to me, so I went with him and it's done. So boom. If you know a cheaper painter, you can obviously get a better deal. But I'm happy with the way it came out. He used the exact paint I wanted. It's Yamaha paint. It's beautiful and it's here. Okay, so total was on my list $46.82. Again, there's a couple items on there. I mean, 100 for the Dremel, and maybe you don't use all these particular bobber parts. Maybe you want to do something else, you know, so that's going to depend on what you want. But that's what I did it for, $46.82, thereabouts. I mean, like I said, there might be a couple little small things I forgot, but there you go. So I need to think about pros and cons here. What worked, what didn't. Okay, first off the top of my head, things that really worked well. The lift, even if you had to buy it at full price, definitely get that. That made all the difference in the world. My little roll-around stool, absolutely essential. I never even used the knee pads. I mean, that's all you need right there for the whole project. Absolutely beautiful. Let's see, the polishing ball. All it did is make a mess. It slung crap all over half the garage. I got it all over my other bike, got it all over this bench. I mean, it didn't even do anything. Doing it by hand came out better. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I wanted to clean off all the old soap from the rims. I gotta do that yet. Anyway, don't bother with that. The polish itself and the little green bottle there, that worked fine, but again, just do it by hand. That's all you need. Let's see. Obviously the Chinese emblems, you know, you gotta put some work into them. As far as space, it worked out really well having half the garage to do it, but you don't need it. You actually don't need it. I could have done the entire project almost as easily over here in my little front part of my half. I mean, a quarter of the garage. It really wasn't that big of a deal at all. So don't feel that you need all this space to do it. All I was using this for is just to lay out parts. I could have done this putting the parts in the house and bringing them out as I needed them. There was no problem with that. All I was doing is scooting around the bike. All you need is really, you know, a couple feet around the bike or enough room to move the bike when you need to. That's it. It really wasn't a big deal. The gloves, for a few parts of it, I liked them, but most of the time, it was a lot faster just to use my fingers so I could feel things and just freaking wash my hands afterwards. They were really more of a hindrance, especially trying to turn gummy bolts or get into tight spaces. They would snag on things, you know. For the really dirty stuff like oil changes, the rear drive shaft oil change, stuff like that, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to use the gloves so I don't get that oil mess all over my hands. But for actually turning wrenches, I'm done with using those. Here's just a tip. This is what I do for power in my garage. I've got a long extension cord, and it's just plugged into one of my wall outlets down here, but I drop it and just kind of loop it up near the center of the garage. So I can drop this down to any length. It can reach any part of the garage or go back into my tool room. And you could even use one of those, you know, retractable things if you wanted to, but it's a super easy way, and it's just over my head so I don't hit my head on it. It's a super easy way just to have really convenient power. Otherwise, I've got my power splitter up here, which I can unplug these lights from now. But it's, yeah, kind of a pain in the butt, and everything else is on that circuit, so it's just nice to have this up here out of the way. Extending socket, 20 bucks at Harbor Freight. I saw it also at Home Depot. I'm sure Lowe's has it. One of the best 20 bucks I've ever spent on a tool. Really handy. I'm actually impressed with the quality. The ratchet is very nice, but wow, the extension, the ability to get that extra torque and then put it away when you don't need it, that came in really handy. I didn't have to, once I bought this, go back for my torque wrench that I use as my old torque wrench that I use as a, oh God, what's the term? Brain fart. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Breaker bar. Didn't have to go for it once. Now that I have this, very, very nice investment. And the biggest thing of all, if I were to do it again, I would not do it in summer. Oh my goodness, I never ever thought it would be this muggy and disgusting out. I mean, look at this. This is me just standing here. I'm just dripping in sweat. Just sitting here filming video, you know? Not doing anything, not really working. Oh, never again. I'll do more projects, but they're gonna be in the winter. Absolutely. Just terrible. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for new motovlogs on the Bobber. I'm also going to do some new photo shoots. I've got some really sweet ideas in my head for locations where this will really pop and stand out. It's going to be awesome. And I just have to wait for the right weather now. I also have to figure out how to carry my gear on it. I think I have a couple sling bags that'll work very well just going on me. Obviously, I can't put anything on the bike itself, not like my FJR where I just strap everything to the back and bing, bang, boom. No, everything's got to go on me on this. I think I got it covered. I got a whole bunch of bags and stuff. So look for those shortly. It's like I said, it's going to depend on the weather. The other option is to have the wife follow me in the car or something, bring stuff, and you know what, at 2, 3 in the morning, that's not an option. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up. We'll see you next time.